Hey, it's that time again. Direct Response Podcast. I'm your host, Travis Ketchum, founder of Campaign Refinery, joined today by David Cartolano from Wealthy Inbox. How's it going, my man?
Hey, it's all good, Travis.
So we get to talk about, a neat one today, as always, but this is going to be more in your wheelhouse than mine, very admittedly. I've used a fair amount of AI things. I've, played with them. I've seen how powerful they are. I use them somewhat regularly, but you have gone down the rabbit hole deeper than myself. And so for those who are saying, I want to use AI as an email assistant to help me with email specific functions. Can you kind of run down what even is an AI email assistant and what the hell does a good one look like?
Yeah, so I'm going to preface everything with at the time of this recording. And the reason I say that is because AI is moving so incredibly fast that possibly the article that you read, but below this, the article that you read might not even be relevant or might be updated and sound completely different than what we are saying because the technology is just moving
It'll
fast.
definitely be relevant because our team is awesome. Our team is awesome.
Love
to
it.
update things. So I just want to say it will be relevant. It'll just be updated. It's likely to disagree with something that we say here, but the premise of what a useful AI should look like and its attributes should be accurate from this. So you're not wasting your time, but we'll tell you
Perfect.
the current state as of today.
Yeah. And some of the principles and what things are. So yeah, listen to Travis on that. I am very experienced with very inexperienced with Travis's team's dedication and ambition, which, I mean, if you listen to that, that's pretty awesome. So what is an AI agent? So just to go broad 30,000 foot view, an AI agent is when a computer does something that a human can do. That's it. Just try not to complicate it any more than that means. Complicate it more than that statement. So that means hey, David, does that mean a computer can make me coffee? Well, I guess technically in the future, it probably can. That's a type of AI agent. David, can a computer manage my emails? Sure. That's an AI agent as well. And we're in the embryonic stage. So this is in the very, 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 very beginning of it all. But I mean, eventually this is something that's going to be implemented not only in enterprise companies, but also in regular use for B2C. They're just not going to know it's called an AI agent, and it's just going to be kind of an automatic thing. So, so that's the definition. As far as getting one to manage your inbox, I mean, some of you might have already played with Google Gemini, right? I'm not the biggest fan of Google Gemini. It to me seems like more of a search tool than an actual manage my inbox assistant and guide my emails and filter them and bring them to my attention in the way that I want them to. It's more hey, what are the most important things happening?
Now, to be fair to Google, that may be the state today, but
Yeah.
if anyone cannot be counted out in this fight, it's going to be Google. So by the time you listen to this, Gemini might be freaking amazing at the thing you need to do. It just isn't there at the time of recording, as you should preface.
Yeah. And I know Microsoft has its Copilot, and it has that. Now, I am not a Microsoft user. I don't know. I like my spreadsheets, but I don't like them that much. You know what I mean? So for me, I haven't tested out Copilot just yet. That is an AI agent that they claim can also help organize your inbox and bring emails that are most important to your attention. So that's one thing. I know there's a lot of smaller companies, and I'd be careful with them, especially if they're on certain platforms with lifetime deals, not dropping any names. But if they're not going to charge monthly recurring fees, it's hard for me to see how they would really develop the product because development takes money. But there's a couple of platforms that do advertise an assistant for your inbox, and they do custom workflows. You feed them with data, you tell them what to look for, and then they sort through the data and then do what you want with it. So I'm not going to name any here in case they disappear in a month or get bought out and get renamed. It's pretty much nuts. But I do want to give a couple of warnings before getting, if you're like, oh, this is amazing. I want my AI to make my email coffee and it's going to be incredible. I just want to give a couple of warnings if that's all right, Travis.
Yeah, of course.
So number one, when you're getting an email AI assistant, treat it as if you're getting a human assistant. Like you are letting someone go in, scan your emails, read them, get your email address, your personal data, the other person's email address, the content of the conversation itself, and God knows what else. All right. So be careful. Like look at the privacy look at the privacy policy, how they handle the data, and ask yourself the question, what am I really paying for here? I mean, I'm sorry. What am I really paying with here? So yeah, you could be paying $5 a month, but you're also paying with a crap ton of personal data that they can use and resell to whoever they want if you agree to their terms and conditions. So that is something to be very aware of. I know that I am going to name drop Superhuman because they're very popular inbox management tool, but just understand, like, they're getting a lot of data, especially if you find an email AI manager that's free. Come on, there's no such thing as a free lunch. That saying has been around for thousands of years because it's true. So if you're not paying with your money, you're paying with something else, it's your data. So that's something to be very careful of, especially if you are any type of organization that handles patient information. All right, HIPAA violations, they stack up. And if you're caught with one, the fines are insane. And I know this because I failed out of physical therapy school. So I had to learn all those ropes while I was in it before I got into this amazing, email electronic stuff. But yeah, that's like a big warning that I would walk in with both eyes open, read privacy policies, read about how the data is managed. I can imagine in the future we're going to see more local AI agents. So things are going to be stored on the device, on your local device, and hopefully, cross your fingers, encrypted. But yeah, that is something to keep in mind with setting up an email AI assistant. It's something that I'm going to be doing this quarter because, I mean, there's just higher leverage activities that I can spend my time on. But I have to find the right software, and I just haven't found it yet. And it might come out in 3 hours because AI moves fast. But yeah, that's what an agent is. That's a precaution to take when going inside and purchasing one. And yeah, I'm sure that there's way more resources in the article that are up to date on it. But yeah, Travis. As
Well,
far as
I got a question for you, just to kind of bring it home a little further for people. So when you think about an AI email agent, I sort of think of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in two kinds of contexts. I think of it as an end user inbox management system as one potential context, where I am receiving email and I want it to collate what's coming in, prioritize what's important, pre-write some responses, right, that I can then edit and send. But then I also think about from a sender point of view, like a broadcast point of view, right? And there can be email AI agents that are helping me craft copy, offers, write like in my voice without having the input of a reply based, just sort of a trigger event based. Right? I'm giving it the prompt. I want you to write about this topic. I want you to promote this thing. I want you to write in my sales voice. I want you to write in an educational tone, or whatever kind of component there. So can you just kind of like elevator pitch style for each one of those contexts? What's kind of the feature hit list that you're going through to in your decision matrix to say, is the thing I'm evaluating high quality or not? Like what sort of rigor does it need to pass? I know we talked about the data privacy policy, so that's definitely important. But like what features, what fundamental thing must it do to be good at both my inbox management, and what is a fundamental thing an AI agent need to be good at the sender side of things? Because I think that's two different decision matrices. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, that's perfect. The principle that I follow when I'm using any AI tool is this short-term and long-term, more efficient and cheaper than a human being? And do I get the same result as if there were a human being? So, for example, like I'll go to the inbox manager side of things, right? So if I have a human assistant, can the human assistant categorize what's important based on the requirements I gave the human? That sounds weird. I gave the assistant. Can they respond in the way that I want them to respond in a timely manner? Do they understand what is spam and what is not spam? Do they understand my expectations around, if I get an email from someone who wants to work with me versus an email from a newsletter? Do they understand, like, okay, the newsletter goes here, the email from somebody who wants to work with me, here are your standard responses. You can get creative if you want, but at the end of the day, the standard response needs to be blank based on blank. So if a human does all that, fantastic. If I'm split testing it with an AI, I want the AI to do exactly what the human can do. And you're going to be like, will it sound a little robotic? For now. Maybe in the future it won't. Actually, cross out maybe. In the future it won't. And it'll be hard to tell the difference. So for me, I'm thinking, all right, if I'm going to have an email assistant in my inbox, which I want to implement Q1, even if it does sound a little robotic, then it needs to perform all of the capabilities that a human can do at the same level. And moving that over from a sending side. So, all right, like I'm using Campaign Refinery. I'm killing the email game. Super fun. I have to write the emails. I have to send the emails. And I have to keep them out of spam. And I have to systemize them and like all that shit. So for me, I'm like, okay, an email AI agent, I want it to do all the things that an email list manager can do. So that means I want them to write the emails. I want them to copy and paste them into the email service provider. I want them to format it the way I want them to. I want them to tag certain links and create certain actions based on user behavior, based on what I tell it to do. I want it to schedule a post or just send the email when I want it sent. And listening and me saying it now, I'm like, that's a tall order. That's crazy. That's not going to happen for a while. Yeah, it's not until it does. And it's going to be crazy when it does. So for now, if you're like the list manager stuff, that's crazy. Okay, well, how about just a copywriter, right? We've been using AI. I've been using AI to write copy since 2021, right? So it's already here. You can argue that the copy doesn't sound as human as a human does. I disagree based on like what I've been able to do and what I've seen other people able to do. And the language models are just getting much better. So I believe like, can AI replace a human copywriter? I believe the answer is yes, depending on what business and what level of copy quality you're looking for. And
80-20 rule feels like it probably applies here.
Bing, bing, bing. That's really it. And I know some copywriters will burn me at the stake for it, and that's okay. They have their opinions. But for me, most businesses in the world do not need a 50-page sales letter. They don't. Emails are short. Emails are simple. You can feed the ideal customer data on the inside, and the copy just flows really, really well. And in the future, if you're watching this or listening to this in the future, you're just going to see how good it's going to get. And that's really it. So to sum up all that word vomit, at the end of the day, the way I judge an AI tool is this getting me the same result as a human being?
Or better.
Or better, right? And is it as cost effective? And it's going to be. It just is. So
it feels like there's probably one third rung there though, which is, does it make it easy enough that my compliance goes up? And what I mean by that is, it's like a less than perfect diet you stick to is better than the perfect diet you give up after 3 days, right? And so you may think like, okay, I have the perfect copy, and like that's probably an unrealistic goal. And if it's diminishing returns, you're spending like days to write one email. Or can I go in and hit a button and then spend 15 minutes editing whatever AI wrote and I get out an email every Thursday or 3 days a week? And I do that for a year. That's probably a far superior jump forward for most people than trying to get something perfect and doing it twice.
Yeah, absolutely. And most businesses in America are small businesses. The plumber is not going to read David Ogilvy. Why would they? But they don't need to. I think this is an age where AI agents are coming out, and the saying used to be like, "Oh, you can't hand off marketing to your 13-year-old nephew." I'm starting to believe, I believe that you can, actually. I think that it's going to get so advanced that you're going to have AI agents that can run your ad campaigns, that can write, I mean, we can already write emails with AI, that can schedule your emails, and it's coming. It's coming, if not already here, and I just have been too ignorant to hear about it. So, yeah, that's just something that most businesses with an AI agent, it's just going to make things faster, right? You got a calculator now. Stop using your abacus.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing your experience, David. I definitely appreciate it. Like I said, I've got some experience in AI, but knowing where your blind spots are is one of the first places to start. So thanks for sharing that. If you want to learn more about maybe using some of these tactics as you scale your newsletter, David, you probably have some resources there. I'm sure you've talked about as you talk about running efficiently, newsletters and whatnot. So if you want to check out what he's working on, you got wealthyinbox.news. Highly, highly recommend. If you're looking for a platform to pair with your AI assistant from the sending side of things, that's where we come in, Campaign Refiner. We can help you take care of the deliverability game, the technical piece. And of course, if you're looking for the resources on how to use, which AI systems are out there, maybe how to use them, that kind of thing, we have an updated document down below with a blog post that you can go read, and that is regularly updated by our content team to give you the latest and greatest in the AI world. All right, David, thanks for being on. Talk to you soon.
You got it.